wonderful to be in the sanctuary again with you. Let's start with Hine Matov. We'll start with our Nigun. Hine Matov can be found in the bottom of page 2 and also on your screen with your lovely slides by the incredible Dan Lieber. How good it is to be together here after so much Zoom, and Zoom is miraculous and wonderful too, but seeing your faces in these chairs is truly, truly a Shabbat miracle for us. So thank you and Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with Shiru Ladonai, the words of Psalm 96, Sing to the Lord, a new song. And we have a really nice critical mass, so after we've gone through the harmony a few times, we can try around. So once we sing through the melody, let's have this half of the room from, let's say, Deb over, stick with me, and this side of the room, stick with Katie.
We'll be going first, our side.
Oh, thanks for the reminder.
You're welcome.
So we'll go through the melody a few times, and then when you hear me drop out, that means this side of the room, it's your turn to go with Katie. Shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basaru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basaru miyom leyom Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basaru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Nobody sings quite like Shir Tikvah. That was so beautiful to hear your voices together. We continue with Yedid Nefesh. If you're following along on your Siddur, that's on page 3. Everybody knows these songs so well. We're just singing and looking at Dan's beautiful slides. It's wonderful. Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh of Harachaman, Yedid Nefesh of Harachaman, Neshochavta, Eretzonach, Neshochavta, Eretzonach, the just, the words of Psalm 97 on page 7 if you're following along in your Siddur. We continue with the lighting of our candles as we bring in the light of Shabbat. And the blessings are on page 1 in your Siddur. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue with Lecha Dodi. We'll do the version that Beth affectionately calls the campfire Lecha Dodi. And I know many of you are heading off to the camping trip next week, Dan? 2 weeks. Yes, that's right. So we're getting ready into the camping mindset with our camping Lecha Dodi. And if you'd like to, we invite you to rise in body or in spirit for the final verse, and we will turn and face the door and bow and welcome the presence of Shabbat. Lecha Dodi, this is on page 11 if you are following in your Siddur. Shamoy v'zachor b'diborecha ishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila olechad odi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela olechad odi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mikol habracha mirosh mikerem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila olechad odi
בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
And we may be seated. What a blessing to be able to greet our community members on Zoom as well as in person. And we are so glad to have you however you are here tonight. And tonight we welcome Steve back into our sanctuary after the loss of his beloved wife, Sue. And Steve, our hearts are with you, and we are so happy to see you here back. And we love you and want to support you during this time of grief, and it is wonderful to have you back in community. So we turn to page 12 for Hamakom, and we rise and we speak these words to Steve. Hamakom yenachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avelei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God's presence comfort you among all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. And we may rise in body or in spirit, and we turn to page 15 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, ve'amad yivrach yiruteh ve'amlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayedcho Beit Yisrael, bagala, uv'izman kariv, V'yimeru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam ulam me'almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekodesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'yimeru Amen. We remain standing in body or in spirit for the Baruch Hu on page 16. We'll do our call and a response. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, The Shema is on the bottom of page 17. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. And we may be seated for the Ve'ahavta, which begins at the top of page 18. After the first paragraph, we'll flip a few pages to page 20, where we continue with the second paragraph with the words Lema'an Tizkaru. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kidoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. And we continue with our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, who is like you, Adonai, on page 21. Yes, we're doing our call and response. I almost forgot. We're back here at Shir Tikvah, so we have to do our call and response. I haven't sung this one in 2 years. Wow. Oh, we've missed you. Yai dai da. Micha Mocha We turn to page 22 for Hashkivenu. Well, when it's been 12 years.
13.
Or a mitzvah. Hashkivenu, page 22.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, l'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, l'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, l'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, l'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim.
And for a total change of pace, we continue with Yismechu. In case Hashkivenu lulled you into a little bit too much of an early sleep, we're waking ourselves up with Yismechu, which can be found on page 5 if we flip back.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'kore oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshe Shvi'i Shabbat. Alam yisbe'u v'yitangu mitlecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'kore oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdad yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'kore oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'kore oneg Shabbat. Zecher למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת.
We rise in body or in spirit for the tefillah on the top of page 25. We'll chant the first three blessings of the Amidah together, and then we'll have a moment for silent prayer.
Adonai sfatai tiftach Adonai ufi yagid tefilatecha Adonai sfatai tiftach Adonai ufi yagid tehilatecha Adonai sfatai tiftach Adonai ufi yagid tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasarim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia Mechalkel chayim bechesed Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim verofech olim Umatir asurim Umekayem emunato Lishei le'afar Michamocha ba'al gevurot Umidon elach Melech memit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh
We turn our hearts now to those members of our community, our loved ones, our friends and family who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit. We think of Rob Ruxin, David Gordon, David Ben Matityahu, Sue Gordon, Liz Harry, Sarah Iams, Ed Snow, Ayelet Bat Chava Vahersh Shmuel, Debbie Gilman, Neil Daniels Midman, Michael Berman, Anya Cable, Sue Boardman, Carol and Hal Ober, Sarah Kianowski, Angie Silver, Debbie Sachs-Buteau, Joyce, Stanley Roth, Kathy Nath, Riva Shapiro, Patricia Lyons, Lisa Kimball, Ian Pomerantz. I invite you to share the names of those who are in need of healing out loud or in the silence of your hearts or in the Zoom chat box.
Ellie Quabash, my brother, Sarah Lutz, my sister-in-law, and Phoebe Love, my sister-in-law. Eileen Blanco.
Dora Scholl.
Rita and Howard.
We sing the words of Misha Berach together on page 130.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
O say shalom, page 31. May the one who makes peace in the high places bring peace to us and all Israel and all who dwell on earth. O say shalom. O say shalom bimroma. Uya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yoshei Tevel
shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Osei shalom bimroma Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Osei shalom bimroma Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen.
Hi, Daliners. We love you, Daliners. So we were so excited to be here, and for me personally, it is such a joy to see all of you on Zoom in person, to be in the sanctuary again. I was saying to Caroline when we came in, the last time I was here physically was Purim of 2020, dressed in a minion costume that looked like a CDC person in a hazmat suit, unintentionally. And I remember seeing people and saying, should we hug each other? What's going on? No one knew what was happening. And then we just left and we never got to see you again. And it feels like such a homecoming and so healing to be able to see you all right here, face to face on the screen. So it is a special moment for us to come home. And on a funny note, I am super pumped because the Parsha of the week features a talking donkey. Before Shrek, there is a talking donkey in the Torah, and also a sorcerer. So this is probably the most Disney Parsha ever. So I'm going to tell you about the talking donkey. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about the James Webb Space Telescope and about some trapped robins, and I promise it all connects somehow. So I'm going to start with, see, I get so excited to see you that now my eyes are tearing up and I'm being blinded by my tears, and so lovely Katie is rescuing me with some tissues. Thank you, Katie. So I'm going to wait a moment until she rescues me. Thank you. Overpowered by delight and joy. You're welcome. So the brief story I wanted to share with you that I promise connects to our Parsha is I'm staying at the home of two of our dear friends who are my de facto extra aunt and uncle. And when I arrived at their porch, they informed me that there were a mother and a baby robin trapped in their screened-in porch, squawking in terror, and a cheering section of 10 to 15 local robins outside the porch cheering them on with a big gaping hole in the screen that they couldn't see in their panic. And they fluttered around, and it was a universal human and avian emotion that we could feel, that feeling of being trapped, the panic of the parent, the fear of the child. And eventually I put on a pair of gloves and I went up to the baby robin and it let me pick it up in my hands. It protested and then it relaxed into my hands. I carried it to freedom and it flew away. And the mother as well let me pick her up, and then she flapped away to freedom to join her child. And I've been thinking about this all week, about how that opening in the screen was so obvious to us humans, but to bird eyes, or in their panic, they could not see a way out of their prison and out of their panic. The second impression from this week that I want to share with you are those incredible images from the James Webb Space Telescope. Raise your hand if you've seen those yet. If you haven't, check it out. It's incredible. These are the deepest images of space that we have ever been able to see. It is truly awe-inspiring. And as I was looking at these, I think almost all of us felt an awareness of how tiny and insignificant we are in comparison to the universe, to eternity. That can be a relief. What if nothing we do matters? Or terrifying? What if all of our work, all of our efforts are for nothing? We are tiny specks of stardust. Parshat Balak now. We are contending with the neighboring Moabites, a neighboring tribe that would now be located near modern-day Jordan. Afraid of the strength of the Israelites, Balak, the son of the king, sends out his top sorcerer, Balaam. Those names sound very similar, and I kept getting them confused. Balaam the sorcerer is sent out to curse the Israelites because they are getting too strong. But what happens is Balaam sets out on his donkey, not talking yet, just a regular donkey, and God speaks to Balaam the sorcerer and says, "You may not curse these people. They are my people and they are set apart." Balaam ignores him this first time and sets off on the donkey still, and a messenger of God comes up on another donkey with a sword raised in the air. At this point, the donkey sees danger and veers off to the left. Balaam gives him a swift kick and says, "Donkey, what are you doing?" The donkey reluctantly goes back to its straight path. And again, Balaam and the donkey are hurtling straight towards this messenger of God with the sword raised in the air. The donkey again shifts to the right. Balaam gives him a swift kick. And this continues again until the donkey, this poor beleaguered donkey, has been kicked 3 times by Balaam. At which point he gains the power of speech gifted by God and basically says, "Balaam, what are you doing? I'm trying to save you. There is a messenger of God holding a sword in front of our path, and you are hurtling straight towards it." And Balaam is so blinded by his rage and his guilt and his fear that until now, he had no concept of the danger that he was hurtling straight into. And in fact, he kicked the very entity that was trying to save him and steer him away from danger. So to me, this has very clear implications for where we are right now in our lives. In the world, often it feels like we are hurtling towards danger, and the harder we work, the more implacably we continue straight into the face of what we know is so wrong, and we feel powerless to stop it. We feel like that donkey trying to steer away from danger, or we might feel like that human watching the bird pinging around, flying in fury, exhausting its wings when the opening is right there. And what I find solace in this week, in between the grief at what's happening to our country, to our environment, to the world, is that our actions do have ramifications. What we've learned from those incredible scientists that can explain it in way more detail than I can, but what I've learned boiled down is that there are stars that are so ancient that by the time we're seeing their light, they have been extinguished. They don't exist anymore. And light travels so fast, but eternity is so enormous, space-time is so incredibly vast, that we see the light of those stars after they're gone. And in that way, our actions might have ramifications that we never see generations and generations down the line. We have to help each other find that hole in the screen We may feel like those trapped birds, but as a community, we have the power to free each other when we can't free ourselves. We can steer each other in the right direction. And we also learn from Parshat Balak that Balaam, while God is speaking through him, makes two prophecies. He makes two messianic prophecies saying that good things are coming. Not now, not soon, but they're coming. And Rambam interprets his first prophecy as prophesying the coming of King David. There will be a time when a great king will come to Israel. And Rambam says that comes true, so the other good things will come true too. Good things are coming, not now, not yet. But if we steer each other, if we support each other, help each other find that hole in the screen, our actions can shine their light for generations to come. We turn to the Aleinu as we move towards our closing prayers. We'll do our alternative call and response version, which can be found on page 42, third paragraph, fourth line down. V'hashavota el levavecha, page 42. And then we continue after page 42, we turn to V'ne'emar on page 43. V'hashavota el levavecha ki Adonai hu haElohim v'hashavota el levavecha ki Adonai hu haElohim v'ne'emar v'hayadonai lemelech kol haaretz bayom hahu yireh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We turn to page 44 for the mourner's Kaddish. We are in the period of Shloshim for Sue McHugh, beloved wife of Steve McHugh, mother of Callie and Rachel, and Adam Gelb, friend of a rave. And in this year, we also remember Michael Slonim, Stuart Fay, Al Levin, Claude Lieber, Ruth Sipperstein, Marvin Silverston, Janet Candle, Ken Bloomberg, Henry Wolfson, Erwin Liebau, Helen Fine, and Wynne Musgrave. I invite you now to share the names of those who you are remembering tonight, either out loud, in the chat box, in the silence of your heart.
Daniel
Sue is also the proud grandmother as of Sunday of Daisy Suzanne Binford.
Mazel tov.
My parents, God bless you.
My friend Jessica Klein, I knew, she just passed away on Tuesday. I love her since we were 12.
Alexander McFedrin. Gordon's favor.
We speak together as one community of memory. On page 44. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divrach hirote v'amlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places bring peace to us and to all Israel and to all who dwell on earth. And we say, Amen. Amen. And it sounds like we have cause for a Siman Tov for the new grandpa and also the parents of Noah, Mark and Rebecca. So let's give them a rousing Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yeilanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeilanu, Ulechol Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeilanu, Ulechol Yisrael, Yeilanu, Yeilanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yeilanu. We are seated for our second to last song, Adon Olam, which can be found on page 45. Love seeing Noah dance back there.
And this tune was a particular favorite of Alicia's grandfather, who we never met, but we are told sang it raucously in synagogue. So we are singing it raucously with you, and we invite you to join us in his honor. Yes.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nibra Leit Nasa V'chafzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hover
והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אפחיד רוחי, בעת אישן ואירה, ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירה, אדוני לי ולא אירה.
Before our Kiddush, we'll close with Shalom Aleichem, which can be found on page 49.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai rai 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 rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai rai yai rai 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 rai, yai rai rai rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai 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 yai rai rai rai, yai rai rai yai rai rai rai.
And our Kiddush can be found all the way back on page 5. Nope,
Page 50.
not page 5. 51.
There we go.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron ba'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחתנו. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat lechaim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much for being with us on Zoom in person tonight. Such a great joy to be with you.
And I think we have in-person kiddush downstairs.
Do we?
Yes, outside.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's good news. So let's head there. What's up?